What's up guys, and welcome back to my F1 2018 Ferrari career mode. Back today for episode number 11 at the German Grand Prix, and one of my favourite tracks here, the Hockenheim Ring. Now it's had a lot of criticism since it got redone, but yeah, massive fan of this track, and with these new breed of F1 cars, I'm really looking forward to getting stuck in. Of course, it wasn't on the 2017 calendar, so we didn't get to drive it last year. But yeah, looking forward to getting stuck in. If you guys are enjoying this series, do make sure to drop a like down below and also leave a comment as to what you're thinking about how we're going to get on in this race. But before we get into the racing, let's have a look at the development comparison, so you can see that this weekend Red Bull have brought a very small upgrade, but it is enough to get them ahead of Mercedes in that development chart. So they're closing in on us. Once again, we haven't brought any upgrades. We're saving up some big ones, hopefully, come the next few races. But yeah, that is interesting to see, whether Red Bull can keep up that rate of development. And now in terms of the drivers' standings, Daniel Ricciardo, the Red Bull man, is off the back of a victory in Silverstone, as you can see, but it's myself and Vettel who are quite a way ahead at the top. But we lost like 10 points to Vettel last time, meaning he's 11 points ahead of us in the drivers' standings currently, and we have not had a victory for only 2 races, so it's not panic stations yet. And finally, before we get into qualifying, taking a look at the power unit situation. So currently got 29% wear, which isn't actually terrible because we're 10 rounds into the season, so this is pretty much the halfway mark. And yeah, we should, fingers crossed, be able to keep within those 3 power units over the course of this season.
Welcome to Germany for today's qualifying session at the famous Hockenheim Ring. The pit lane lights will turn green in the next minute or two to signify the start of qualifying.
So as you'd be able to make out, we have a wet qualifying, and we're actually going to get straight into Q3. So the rain was getting quite heavy at this stage of qualifying, so we decided to go out early in Q3 and try and put a good lap on the board. You can see struggling for just that turning through the final couple of corners as Valtteri Bottas goes quickest, but we take provisional P1 with our first lap in Q3, and that gives us something to cling on to as we go into the remainder of the session. And over the radio, it was saying, Jeff was saying that the rain was going to get heavier as the session was brought to a close. So I thought, you know what, I'm going to get out there straight away. There's still 4 minutes to go in the session, but we do have the track to ourselves as well, which is what made it a bit more appealing to go out there and try and set an even faster time and make it a very difficult time to beat for anyone else. So as we come across the start-finish line, of course, no DRS active, and as we go through the Nord Curve at turn 1, we're already about 1/10 of a second up on our previous best time, and braking here into turns 2, 3 and 4. It's a very difficult corner to get right during the wet because you just naturally run out wide due to the camber of that corner. But through turn 4, we are actually purple, and through this graduated left-hander, the Parabolica at turn 5, picking up speed in 8th gear in overtake mode for the ERS deployment for braking into the hairpin at turn 6, getting it turned in quite nicely there. But we have lost a little bit of time, although we do gain it off the exit of the hairpin, showing just what a good exit actually gets you, because we're now almost 2/10 of a second up as we come into the Mercedes corner at turn 8, past the Mercedes grandstand. But we're going to be hoping to topple Mercedes today at their home race, as now going through turns 9 and 10 pretty smooth, and we're purple through sector 2. 2.5 of a second up as we go through the Mobile 1 corner at turn 11 before the Sachs curve of turn 12. One of the most satisfying and famous corners around this Hockenheim Ring circuit. And actually get pretty good traction on exit, although we have lost a little bit of time compared to our previous best time, and we just can't get it turned in through the penultimate corner as we head towards the Sud Curve. And wow, we have messed that one up big time. We had the opportunity to go even faster, and as you will be able to see, it was our teammates who snatched pole position off us. And surprisingly, that time got absolutely obliterated that we did. We were 1.1 seconds off pole, down in 6th place. And boy, have we got a lot of work to do during the Grand Prix. You see the rest of the grid form. That is the big news. We fell from 1st down to 6th, though the track must have in fact improved in the final part of the session.
There's nowhere at all I'd rather be today than here at Hockenheim for the German Grand Prix. We have an incredibly competitive field this year, which means we should be in for a treat. And judging by the sea of people filling the grandstands, there's a fair-sized chunk of Germany that agrees with me.
Well, after a surprising qualifying result, which has landed us 5 places behind our teammates, we have got a lot of work to do. Of course, we're 11 points behind Sebastian Vettel already in the driver's standings, meaning we have got work to do in this race if we're going to close up to him. But I have the confidence that we can get ahead of those Mercedes and Red Bulls. Although this is going to be our first dry bit of running for the weekend. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how the setup plays out over the course of this Grand Prix. We have gone for a dry setup. Let's see how it fares. And it's lights out and away we go here at the Hockenheimring. It's an okay start, not the most brilliant, although it doesn't really matter just because it's such a short run down into turn 1 as the 2 Red Bulls are going side by side on the exit of the Nordkurve, and it looks as if it's Max Verstappen who's got ahead of Ricciardo, but we dive it down the inside of the both of them, and they were too busy scrapping with each other to notice that we were going down their inside, and we've already made up 2 positions in the first sector, and that first complex of corners couldn't really have gone much better for us. We have managed to get ahead and stayed ahead of the Red Bull cars due to using our ERS deployment on the main straight of this circuit, and now we tuck in behind Lewis Hamilton and Valtteri Bottas. It's Bottas ahead of Hamilton, interestingly enough, at this early stage of the Grand Prix, but they are running very close to one another, as we have seen in quite a few races so far this season. The battling in this field all the way through the first 10 and now 11 races of the season has been incredible. But our teammate Sebastian Vettel looks as if he's streaking away with it already, showing the real pace of this Ferrari car, which hopefully we will get to unleash at some point. But the Mercedes car is now scrapping, and that's not going to help the gap to Vettel close in front of them, because Bottas is having to defend from Hamilton, who's trying to go all the way around Bottas, doing anything that he can. Now maybe we're going to slip one down the inside of Lewis Hamilton, but there is a little bit of contact. We thought better of going for a move, but Hamilton was going so slowly just because he was trying to get past Bottas, and he sort of bailed out of the move. Fortunately, no damage was done to either car, and by the end of lap 3, start of lap 4, not much had changed from that lap 2 incident. They're still running very close of Bottas and Hamilton, and I believe the gap to Vettel is still pretty much the same, if not a little bit more. But anyway, we are quicker through the first sector than we have been on the first 3 laps of the race, but we're not challenging Hamilton. It's Hamilton that's challenging Bottas and has got ahead of him on the DRS into the hairpin. And Bottas almost pushing Hamilton through, although it is the Brit that has managed to get that position. And Bottas gets such a poor run out of the hairpin that we are going to go side by side with him now on the run to the Mercedes grandstand. But the Mercedes man will not have the embarrassment of getting overtaken by a Ferrari in front of his own fans. He holds his own this time round on lap 4, but something tells me that it's not going to be too long until we use our pace to get ahead of Valtteri Bottas. Hopefully we can keep that up on lap 5, just 1 lap later, but it's Bottas going for a move on Lewis Hamilton, and now we're going to make it 3 wide on the run to the hairpin. This is brilliant racing so far, as we try and go all the way around the outside, and it has managed to happen somehow. We've managed to get the move done on Lewis Hamilton, who has lost 2 positions in the space of just over 1 corner. And we head to the Mercedes grandstand ahead of a Mercedes on the track on lap 5. And we're going to settle behind Valtteri Bottas for the meantime. Although we do feel like we have the pace to try and get past him, and through turn 11 gaining a lot on Valtteri at this stage. Now we're getting towards the pit phase now. Obviously the ultra soft tyres are what we're on at the moment, and we're going to switch 2 compounds harder onto the soft tyres. So we're going to do the opposite to Bottas and stay out. We were thinking about coming in, but I didn't actually expect Bottas to come in this early in the Grand Prix. So we're going to stay out and try and jump him, because as I mentioned, that soft tyre is 2 compounds harder. So if we can make the most of these ultra soft tyres, of course they were new at the start of the race as well, then that would be fantastic. We jump our teammate who pits at the end of lap 6, and we are really in the groove with this Ferrari car now, feeling like we're putting in some really solid laps. And now by the end of lap 7, 1 lap after our teammate has pitted and 2 laps after Valtteri Bottas pitted, we finally come into the pit lane for a set of the soft tyres, slowing down just perfectly for the pit lane. And I really feel like we didn't leave anything on the table on those 2 in laps. It felt like the good old days, as they'd say in Formula 1, where it was just flat out racing. going as fast as I could as Sebastian Vettel unsurprisingly jumps us in the pit phase. But there you can see Valtteri Bottas about to come through turn 1 at the Nord Curve, but we managed to jump the Mercedes man and we are up into P2. So brilliant strategy from ourselves there, of course helped by our team as well, but we've managed to get ahead of the other Mercedes man. He must have got caught in some traffic, or maybe we were just really quick on those in-laps. I'm not quite sure what it was, but either way, we're not going to complain. And, well, we didn't really look back from there, because you can see on lap 9, we are considerably ahead of Valtteri Bottas at this stage. Now, the gap to Vettel was 6 seconds, and we set the fastest lap of the Grand Prix into the 1:14s, and the gap is now down to 5.7 seconds. Of course, we've got those tyres which are a lap newer, and we are just completely in the groove with a dry setup, with just me being absolutely in the zone. Once again on lap 13, we go purple through sector 2, and by now the gap is down to just over 3 seconds. So we've got 4 and a bit laps left in this German Grand Prix. Could we possibly get up to the back of our teammate and pass him near the end of this Grand Prix? Just look behind us. The gap to Bottas has just been expanding exponentially lap by lap. We are completely in the zone. I've got to say, this is probably the best run of laps, along with Paul Ricard probably, that I've done all season. It's just a fantastic track with these 2018 cars, and sure enough, by the end of lap 16 we were getting ever nearer to the tail of Sebastian Vettel. But is it going to be too little too late, or are we going to be able to do something which we actually did back on F1 2014 career mode and make a last lap overtake for the lead? Now that's got to be the aim, and we got a good run through turn 1, and now as we go through turn 2, trying to get the car straightened up, we should be within DRS range of Sebastian Vettel. Yes, indeed we are. The detection zone very close to the actual activation point, so we are within a second. We've got plenty of ERS deployment to use, but I just don't think we are going to be quite close enough. No, we are not. We can't make a move on Vettel into the hairpin. Maybe on the run to the Mercedes corner, but no, Vettel must have used his ERS on the exit of the hairpin, because he's just so much quicker than us out of there. And yeah, sure enough, we're just too far behind. We have a little lockup. We are pushing so hard at this stage, trying to do anything that we can to take this victory. But it looks as if Vettel is going to extend his gap at the top of the championship. We've actually gone purple through the second sector, just showing how much we're pushing even at the end of the lifespan of these tyres. As we close up to Sebastian Vettel, if it was a lap longer, then I think we would have been able to take him, but as we come through the final corner, we are just not quite close enough, and Sebastian Vettel is going to win on home soil and take another victory. We have to settle for P2, and that one is a hard one to take. We tried so hard after qualifying low down, but in the end it is that man Sebastian Vettel who takes another victory this season. And we just don't want to be known as a number 2 driver, do we? And it's becoming ever more likely that that is going to be the case. We look pretty happy on the podium, but I'm sure on the inside we're not smiling whatsoever. Vettel takes the victory. Bottas in P3 was a very long way behind, showing just how much pace this Ferrari car has. It's pretty special. It's such a nice car to drive. Like, genuinely, in the first season of career modes in previous games, I've been used to driving dogs of cars, but this is far from it. And of course, what has materialised is yet another 1-2. Despite starting 6th on the grid, we've managed to do it. And yeah, Valtteri Bottas in 3rd, Verstappen in 4th ahead of Hamilton, interestingly enough. With Daniel Ricciardo, it looks as if he was way down the order, so I'm not quite sure what happened to him. We'll see in a moment exactly where he finished. It was a DNF, actually, for Daniel Ricciardo, along with Sergio Perez, Stoffel Van Dorn and Lance Stroll. So it was a bit of a war of attrition coming towards the end of the Grand Prix. But in terms of drivers' standings, we are now 18 points behind our teammate Sebastian Vettel. But of course, he's been 40 points ahead at one point in the season, so that's not to worry too much at this stage. We have got plenty of time remaining, although we are over halfway through the season now. And even though we're only at the halfway mark, we're already 133 points ahead in the in the constructor standings, ahead of Mercedes, with Red Bull there in P3. Again, quite a bit back.
Good day today. Tell us about it from your perspective.
Did you struggle to get through all that traffic today?
I mean, I wouldn't say it was a struggle at all. I pretty much breezed through everyone. So, yeah, I'm going to go. There was no struggle. I pushed as hard as I could because that is exactly what happened.
Another podium. You must be getting used to it up there.
I'm not going to go for the bottom one because that sounds like the biggest dick known to man. But maybe go for the left-hand one. Yeah, we'll go for that.
Great. Well, that's everything.
So guys, that is it for another career mode video. I hope you enjoyed it. Do make sure to leave a like down below if you did. Hopefully we can get on a little bit better, just that one step better next time out in Hungary. Join me to find out, and I'll catch you guys then. Take care. Bye bye.